Hola chula! Thank you so much for clicking onto this video. If you are new here, this is a strange video to be checking out first on my channel. No judgment, just saying. If you're coming back to my channel, it is fantastic to have you here with me, especially as I take one more step forward in my journey of recovery. I have been in recovery from anorexia for the last 2 years. Today is my official 2-year anniversary. On March 3rd of 2023, I decided that I was going to change my life. I had been dealing with some kind of eating disorder, primarily anorexia, on and off for the last 10 years at that point of my life. Now that I'm 2 years removed from that day, I can genuinely say that that was probably one of the lowest points in my addiction or in my struggle with anorexia. I definitely was not taking care of myself. I did not care to take care of myself. I thought I was worthless, that I didn't deserve to, feel good about myself, to receive compliments. I felt like I didn't deserve praise or respect, and I certainly felt like I didn't deserve food to put in my body, which is really strange. That's a really deep level of self-hatred. I recognize now that my life now is so much better than how my life used to be. I was blind to how in pain and how miserable I was for years. And I didn't have to be. I did not have to be in pain, and I did not have to be miserable. Those are things that I chose for myself every day, that I continued to be in addiction, that I did not seek help, that I decided that I knew better than my body. And that's the results that it gave me. I just feel so much more equipped to be able to love this body and to take care of myself and to actually see the goodness in myself, see my value, my worth for more than just what I look like, more than just my outward appearance. And I still feel very uncomfortable in my body. Like, I know that my body's never going to be perfect. I'm never going to be like an Instagram model kind of body. Like, I'm never gonna have that. That's something that used to really devastate me, and it used to break my heart. And some days I have days where it's like frustrating to think that, my body's never going to be the way that I would wish it to be. But that's okay. I feel like that's just a part of life. And beauty standards, there's maybe some biological science to them, but for the most part, they are entirely dependent on your culture, where you happen to be born and raised, and they're fluid. They change with time. So to base my self-worth on this kind of fleeting concept of beauty is a stupid metric to live your life by. This is a mental illness as much as it is a physical illness, so there will be days that my mental illness just is more prominent than others, and that's okay. That's my cross to bear in life. That's something that I have to take responsibility over and learn how to live in spite of that. Being 2 years in recovery almost feels kind of not real. It doesn't even really feel real to me yet, because I have lived so much of my life being dominated by this disease, by this illness, by this addiction, that living in freedom of it still feels very new, and still feels like there's things that I have not encountered yet, that are still coming, that I'm not sure how to handle yet. When I get there, I'll get there, and I'm sure with the help of my support system, with my higher power, that I'll be able to get through those things. The part of my journey that I would love to get to is just accepting that my weight is a neutral factor. It doesn't say anything about me as a person to be thin or to be bigger, or just to be the weight that I am right now. I don't think that it has to communicate anything about myself to any person, because I think it's like a bad characteristic to base your judgment off of someone else. It's a characteristic that I have judged myself on as long as I can remember, but it's not something that I want to continue putting much, for lack of a better word, weight into. I just don't think that it should carry the significance that I have allowed it to carry for this many years. I've had to rewire the way that my brain thinks about food and the way that I think about myself to be able to say that I have 2 years worth of recovery, but I don't think that that means that I will never have to deal with the intrusive thoughts again, or that I'll never have to deal with the body dysmorphia again. Like, those things are things that I deal with pretty much every day. I would say that I deal with like body dysmorphic thoughts at least once or twice a day. Some days are way worse than others. Some days they still keep me from having fulfilling relationships, and some days it's difficult for me to even go to work because I'm just so paranoid about what I look like. And I think that, you know, like, that's something that I may have to go to like a special therapy for, probably something that I like cannot afford to really invest in at this point in my life. It's something that I've, again, just had to learn how to kind of compartmentalize and just deal with it and get over it and learn how to live my life anyway. And yeah, I think that being honest about that is the best thing that I can do for myself, for my channel, for anyone who's kind of struggling with similar things. It's like, it's not from like one day to the next. Like March 3rd to March 4th of 2023, I was this completely changed person and I didn't have any of these struggles. Like, I'm 2 years from that day and I still have very much the same kind of struggles. But physically, my body is healthy. Physically, my weight is normal, my weight is healthy. And those are things that should be celebrated, because those are not things that I could have said 2 years ago. But I'm grateful and blessed to be able to say that I am healthy today. That's something that I will never take for granted again. These anniversaries are mostly just about reveling in the fact that I am liberated from the constant torment of having to starve myself every day just to feel like I was worthy of, I don't even know of what, of love, of having friends, of being praised at my job, of, you know, just having any good thing happen to me only happened to me because I was thin. That's a fucked up way to live your life. That woman that I was sick, mentally, physically and mentally. To think that I looked beautiful at that time is crazy. I know the truth of it now. I can see the truth for what it is now. And when I see myself now, you know, I don't think I'm perfect. I don't think I'm like this amazing, gorgeous model or anything like that. But I can see myself and I see how healthy I am. And I see that the light has come back to my eyes and that my spirit, that I have like levity in my spirit again. Despite how fucked up the world is, I can see the goodness in myself again. And I see the hope, and I see the optimism, and I see the genuine smile. And those are things that are just not possible when you're living in the kind of misery that I used to live in. So I don't really think about it on a day-to-day basis as much anymore, but I should wake up every day and feel incredibly grateful and incredibly blessed to be able to say that I overcame something that most assuredly would have taken my life if I had not. When you have a disorder like anorexia, it is truly a matter of life and death. And choosing life is scary. It means doing something different. It means changing yourself in ways that you may not be comfortable with changing. But I would say that even being uncomfortable, it's got to be better than slowly watching yourself fade away, pass away. I am celebrating yet another year in recovery, yet another year of feeling just happy to be alive, regardless of what my life actually looks like. You know, my life is not perfect. I'm not rich. I work for a living. You know, I hate my job, but I work it anyway. There are things that I wish I could change, but I can't. And I just have to accept that. And that's probably the greatest practice in life, is just learning to accept the things that we cannot change. That's something that I do find myself saying more often than not every day, that you just have to learn to understand, learn to accept, and maybe even learn to love those things that you cannot change. my ultimate goal in making these videos is really just to document where I am on this journey, you know? It's really just to see how far I come from one year to the next. So I have no idea what things will be like the next time that I sit down to film for my 3-year anniversary. But today, at my 2-year anniversary, I feel really great. I feel positive about my life moving forward. There are a lot of things to maybe not feel so positive about right this very second, but as far as me, I'm great. I'm doing great. I feel healthy. I feel well. I feel mentally clear, mentally sound. I feel loved. I do feel beautiful today. So if you hate your body, if you despise your body the way that I do sometimes, just remember all the wonderful things that it does for you. And maybe it's easier to look upon yourself with kind eyes when you remember what your body is actually for. Your body is not here to make other people happy. Your body is not here to be pleasing to other people. Your body is here to be a vessel for you to experience life. That's it. So I hope to see you next year for my 3-year anniversary video, and we'll see what kind of insights and experiences I have at that time. But as always, I hope that you are having a wonderful, beautiful, amazing rest of your day. Bye!